Sore or not sore, you just go for it.
And you just haven't.
I know, because look, Sawyer Brown.
This right here is my hat.
I can't let you up right now there.
You want to say hi, Sawyer Brown? Hey, guys. We made it. It's ATX and her narc, Sean.
We're gonna change the name of the stream at the end. We got to get more creative with the titles. I may take that over.
ATX.
So ATX and his narcissist here tonight.
But you were supposed to. Hey guys, that used to be your thing. You added the tags and you came up with a witty title.
I can. I mean.
You were a PAO.
That's right.
Not a POS. I know someone who's a POS. You were a PAO. Anyways, guys, it's raining here.
Yes. So the internet might be a bit spotty.
I don't think it is. I've been watching it. It's stable. How are you guys doing? It's like I said, been raining and windy, and this big chunk of soot dislodged and fell into the fireplace.
She thought it was a chupacabra or something.
I thought it was a Yeti.
A Yeti or a chupacabra.
Hey Loretta, hey Lisa.
What is up? So
Panda.
you guys must know there's only 15 people in here right now. And I'm gonna task Presley if she comes in. The Braves are on right now, but I choose you guys.
And that would not be monumental, but this is so different than he was in his former life, right?
Or even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Now, like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, you're missing the game. It's like, it's all right. I'll catch it on the...
Yep.
Yeah.
2 years ago when we were in Texas,
Flashed.
be like, we got to go live, Sean. I'd be like, there's a game's on. But not anymore.
Hey, Rhonda. So anyway, I forgot to tell you, I went over to my in-laws today for a little bit, and I ended up bringing like fresh baked. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Pies, little like homemade pies.
Apple and peach pies.
They didn't know about the Bigfoot thing.
Really?
No, I was telling them the story, and and then his coworker, his name said it's Bigfoot, and your mom got a kick out of that. It's like, so Sean's new thing now.
Penny, aka Pac, she's here. I haven't
Diane.
seen Penny in a while.
I haven't either.
How are you? Hey, Diane. Yeah, I mean.
So they got a kick out of it. I said, Sean, he's open to anything. He's laid back and.
Well, the other thing is that this person that likes Bigfoot or believes in Bigfoot, he knows and is friends with other people that I associate with. So
she does. It's a big thing here. She does. Your mom knows.
Oh yeah. But this guy is. I mean, I have like.
Look at all these cool people.
It's like weekly check-ins, about Bigfoot. He comes in and he's like, so, and I'm like, what do you know? He spends a couple minutes if we're not too busy, and he tells me about stuff.
She got a kick about the first time when she's like, and she was like this and kind of puffed out, and then I was like, and then Warren's like, Bigfoot.
It's Bigfoot, yeah.
Because Sean is so kicked back, he was like, just kind of like, all right. Like he had no idea what he was talking about.
I think sometimes you find out stuff when you just let people talk.
Yeah.
You don't try to go, what, huh? You don't try to like judge or give like a kind of energy. You just go, okay.
That's true. That's especially true were any of y'all the type of kids that when the grown-ups started gossiping, you kind of melted into the woodwork and just listened, and you knew that's the little, I'll just say L, the one that begins with L. That's what she does.
Yeah.
If you're like sitting there talking and you kind of forget she's there, so you get a little bit, you get a little bit gossipy, and then you notice that she's pretty, like, you hear everything, don't you? And she's like,
She does.
Yeah. Yes. That's, Chloe was a big melt into the woodwork kind of. Tanner wasn't, because he doesn't know how to be quiet.
Mandi said L, that's the first letter of this,
precious,
great little girl that is in our family and hangs out, because my niece and nephew, their mother, my brother's ex-wife, her current husband, his daughter, from a previous relationship, that is younger. She's much younger than my niece and nephew, but they're a family now. They're a blended family, so she's always hanging out with us, and she's a great girl.
She really is. She came on. She came on the family reunion, and had a great time. It was the first she learned how to swim.
Yep.
While she was there. In fact, a few different people kind of had a hand in teaching her, but it was like, stay where you can touch. but practice the motions. And that's kind of what she did till she figured it out.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people. I mean, we're a pretty athletic bunch of the family, so you can't.
I shared it, so you have to go back to the.
Okay.
I shared that yesterday.
Yay.
When I was like, we don't know. She's always. I didn't catch the first part. Did anybody see today? Well, Sean would have to say a football player that beat up a photographer. He didn't really beat him up, but.
No, he didn't beat him up. He just shoved him out of the way.
But anytime a celebrity does that, they know that they're going to be
in trouble. So Devontae Adams at the Packers, he's the wide receiver of the Packers, and after the game, he was frustrated. So they, like the sports press, kind of like the sports paparazzi, and they were trying to take pictures, and he kind of shoved them out of the way. And even though he made a public apology about it, it seems like he is being charged.
And that's the thing is, like, these photographers know that if they can antagonize a celebrity or a sports star and make them act out, they know they're going to get paid off. It's worth what, $100,000 maybe?
Yeah.
For it to go away.
The thing is that this guy's like got press credentials and everything, and so he tried to just get a little bit too close to take a picture, and Devontae was like, I don't think so, and shoved him.
You did it. Thank you. I was trying to catch up.
Penny was like, I just saw her live. I think she might have been drunk. Well, we know who you're talking about. Actually, it could be
what happened
any
yesterday
number of
is
people.
that she made a series of poor decisions that she's still suffering from the blowback from. Apparently, I didn't even tell Sean about the one in the middle of the night where she's not happy that we have a healthy sex life. So she had to go there and say that you know.
Couldn't.
So every once in a while she sticks her feet in that direction to see if that pays.
That's not going to go well.
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure while she was doing it.
This is when we were. Oh my God. Yeah, because didn't somebody like text you and said she just went live and like, well, we're busy doing this. So.
You're gonna make me. She just has a cucumber.
Blush.
Yeah, I mean. Anyways,
it's so.
So that was.
I think it's so cute how Mandi can get so embarrassed, but when the doors are shut and she's in there, she's freak.
Yeah, I am.
I love this woman. I love this woman a lot. She's like truly my better half.
There's no coercion going on there, unless it's like the opposite direction. When I'm like, hey, in the middle of the night, I'm like, how are you tired? You're like, well, I'm asleep, and I'm like. But like real asleep, or just you're like, well, no, I'm not that asleep.
Yeah, but then like say I don't wake up, and then she was like last night, and I said, are you asleep? I'm asleep. That asleep, and I'm like, and I go back to sleep, and then I'm like, you didn't try. You just slapped me one time, and I woke up. But.
You guys know. I mean, he said it. Everybody knows it. She doesn't even like it, so it's not like she could have a healthy life if she found the man with the most endowed, most gorgeous, tannest, most muscular, makes the most money. She still doesn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, Saint Ratty, I'm gonna pin that. She said you guys are so in love it shows. So it's true.
It's so funny because today I was like, Sean, I got some pork cube steak because it was way cheaper than I didn't even know they made it, because I normally might get beef cube steak and make chicken fried steak with it. But this was pork cube steak, and it was way cheaper. And I bought it, and I was like, I'm not going to chicken fry it because I don't think that'll be good. But I found a recipe for smothered steak using that, and I was going to make it, but...
Smothered with what? What do you put on it?
It's like French onion soup.
Because smothered and covered, that's all like a Waffle
flour.
House thing. That's a Waffle House thing.
Yeah, kind of like that. And flour, and it ends up like a real... creamy, robust.
Yes.
And the steak is in it, so you cut through the.
Keep talking to me.
But I didn't have time to make it, so I said we'll just figure it out. Like, look, Hope said, "Hey, Captain," and whatever. That's how it started the whole thing yesterday.
Yeah, Captain and Mrs. Curly.
And that's nice.
Yes, Hope. Sometimes I just text her, "I love you, Mrs. Curly." I call her Mrs. Curly, and I think she likes that.
I do like that.
She likes that title.
Anyways, but then I ended up making super rice, which is cream of chicken soup and rice, instant rice. Have y'all ever made that? Probably a lot of parents have made that. Literally just the easiest thing. And I took a can of shredded chicken, because I can confirm he does like shredded chicken, and put that in it.
We should tell him about our little concoction that we make that I love, and
that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
it's called super rice. A lot of college kids make it, and you can make it for your kids.
I love it, especially when
You've
I'm at
made
work.
it, see?
When I'm really, really busy, and I can't like go get lunch or anything, or I don't have a whole lot of time for lunch.
Yeah.
I just take that and I pop it in the microwave for about 45 seconds, and it sticks to your bones, and it's good.
Kind of sneaks up on you though, like if you eat it because it's so good and you're so hungry, and then if you're not careful, then you know how
it's thick.
Yoga and stitching, and I saw Hope. How was everybody doing this fine evening? Is it raining where you are?
Yeah, I think rice, that's why rice is so popular, and it's like considered as like a non-perishable, like it keeps forever. And every income level and every culture eats rice. I don't know of a single culture that doesn't eat rice. And it's because you can make it a million different ways. And if all you have is rice, it'll fill you up.
It was funny when I always tell what, pre-payday meals. And I'm like, when I was an enlisted wife, and it's like super rice, cream of chicken soup is about, at the time the can was 96 cents. The rice is expensive, but if you've already got it, then whatever. And I'm like, but if you're really living high on the hog, you take a can of shredded chicken and put that in it.
That was so but when I'm sitting there, I'm sitting there at the bar wolfing it down, and I said, "So we're eating that old enlisted meal?" And she goes, "No, we're not. It's got chicken in it."
Yeah, I can tell you anything that you have to stretch, and that's why when people talk about food insecurity, I know it exists, but at the same time, if you've ever been a college student or just how to make something that your kids will. That'll fill your kids up.
And I say enlisted because I was enlisted. I understand what it's like to have a couple of Rugrats, and we're living off $1,500 a month, $1,200 a month. And when I say $1,200 a month, I mean for $1,200 a month, you're trying to keep your uniforms the way they're supposed to be. It costs money. Feed the kids, pay the car payments.
Yeah,
it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. So you have rice,
and that's what's good about WIC. The premise of it is pretty good, because there's peanut butter, milk, cereal. What else is free? Like 100%
juicy juice.
That right there, is nutritious to give your peanut butter, eggs. You can get eggs with it or whatever.
I think we finally got off WIC when I made my E6. Even E5s are on WIC.
Oh, really?
And they were at where I was, and we had half the refrigerator was juicy juice, because the kids just love juicy juice.
I feel you, Jude. When I have a brother-in-law that went to A&M, and he can't even handle the smell of ramen anymore. He ate it so much when he was in college that it's like forbidden from being made. That spice packet hits that hot, and he's like, it makes him nauseous.
You can do a ton of stuff with it.
Hot dog weenies.
What did they say? Didn't they come out recently within like the last 5 years and say that ramen wasn't that good for you? Like there was a lot of Didn't they say that? I mean, like just the ramen. People have been existing off ramen for college kids for centuries, and they had something.
I'm gonna pull a mom move. So Sawyer, get out of there.
Sawyer.
Okay, go ahead. You know how when you're like, hold on one second, you take care of business, and then
he's pulling a kid move.
He wants to eat that cat food. Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to stop.
They came out with something like ramen's not good for you, and I don't know why. Maybe y'all have heard that. It's something.
It's really not. The sodium is horrible.
That's probably why, but yeah. I mean, I have had weeks, where you're going, all right, I got to make this stretch for 10 days. This money, you go buy a pack, like a case of the ramens. They're like 19 cents a piece. You can get like 20 of them.
A lot of people too.
There
especially like privates and specialists would save their MREs when they went to the field, and they would bring it out as dinner with the kids, and that's pretty cool that they would go without to make sure that
So MREs, the meals ready to eat. You guys have probably all seen them, and they're probably $10 a piece to try to buy them in a store or something like
Very
that. They're not
expensive,
cheap.
yeah.
So we would get them when I'd go on
Penny.
certain field exercises or whatever. You know, they'd give you like one a day or two a day. Like they brought out one hot meal, like from, and then I would save them. You know, some people would just not even get them. You know, but I would save them. So by the end of the field problem, I might have 15 MREs. You know. So, and they would go in the closet, and then whenever I went fishing, you know, or went like an overnight fishing on the pier or on a boat or whatever, I'd have 2 or 3 of those that were packed along with my stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. People would talk about how nasty they are, and I just ate them. They'd be like in my pantry. They would be just like meals, just like anything else. Every once in a while, I'd pick one out.
Huh.
So some people couldn't stand, you know.
I guess after Florence, they gave them out, and okay, no problem. Hopefully, you can at least watch Karen. She's having problems with her internet. Use ramen throwaway packages. Use it in a different Chinese meal with better spices.
Yes,
Stitch's always got the good ideas.
I mean,
because
all it is like something you have to reconstitute. Like the meal, if you can heat it, the main meal, whether it's like the macaroni or whether it's whatever it is, whatever. Presley, you got to watch the game for me.
What's the score?
The Braves and Phillies are on right now, so you have to keep me updated.
She said, "Good evening, Captain Curly and Mrs. Curly. I'm at work
doing
listening."
That.
Oh,
everybody's giving you your title.
Put it on the big screen at work, like in the showroom with all the cars. Put it up there on there.
Yup. But back to the MRE thing. Stitching Girl is right. You can pull out like the main packet, and if you have like the MREs have gotten better, like they'll have little things at Tabasco or
they're little bitty
But you're right. If you bring your own little packet, it's almost like a Dob kit, like a little shower kit with you to the field, and you just bring the stuff that you like, different spices and stuff. You can make it work.
Our family grew up on goulash. I like goulash. I don't even know how to make it. My mom makes it every once in a while, but I like it. But I suppose it's, what is it, tomatoes and different things like that.
Well, goulash is pretty specific, right?
It's like meat.
My dad would call some stuff gumbo, and maybe because it had rice and it had like shrimp in it and stuff, but that can taste any kinds of ways, and it's a gumbo. You can be like...
That's very cool. Rhonda said she would go every day that they had the government relief and get cases of water and MREs. After they left, I had like 15 cases of water and a lot of MREs. I finally gave most of them to the homeless folks. That's very cool. Yeah, I like goulash.
I mean,
I love, and I don't know how to like make it. I've tried beef stroganoff, homemade beef stroganoff.
I think you pulled that off, right?
I don't think it was too
If
tough.
you ever did, it would be... I would have to literally try to think of something that I didn't like about you if you pulled the stroganoff off.
I love it.
Yeah, that beef stroganoff done right is very good. It's sour cream. It's like
screenshot this.
Liquefied sour cream is the sauce, you know. But
that's what I was like. Hamburger, tomato. This is for goulash. Okay, I screenshotted it. Hamburgers, canned tomatoes, and a bunch of seasonings and onions, and then it's an elbow noodles. I think
Well, I know that some of the stroganoff can be like...
I've heard lots of times, but
elbow noodles would seem right for that.
Sean does like Hamburger Helper. I can confirm that as well. Man. But you know what? He hasn't had it in a long time because I usually cook, and I'm not saying I cook, but he doesn't really cook a lot for himself anymore because I make it.
The thing is that it's a lot.
Let it go. I need to.
Hamburger Helper is a lot like MREs. You know, you have a flavor pack. You have the noodles. And you can doctor up Hamburger Helper easily. Sour cream, put some cheese in it.
Yeah, isn't that chili? I use sour cream in my stroganoff and do a slow cooker. Okay, so I'm seeing lots of things about slow cooker. Let It Go said that, and Loretta's.
Okay, Loretta's your friend, right?
Yes.
Get that beef stroganoff. Get the beef stroganoff recipe.
Yeah.
And we're going to give it the old college try.
If I hadn't eaten so much super rice, that would be making me hungry.
Yeah. I am starting to get hungry, but no, it's...
Everybody's talking about elbow noodles, and it makes me think of Elvis Travels, and then I'm not hungry. So
ATLA said, "Hi guys, have a great stream." Yay!
Thank you. I think Did you heat the MREs like you were supposed to?
Well, I was on a tank a lot of the time, with the turbine engine, and you could take the MRE thing, and you had to make sure you had to put like something like foil under it, or it would melt right through it. You just threw it on the back deck of the engine.
And it cooked
Yeah,
it?
it took it just like a minute, and it would be.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I would if I was
someone.
like on the ground somewhere, and I knew how to use the heater.
Tuna helper. I'm seeing Misty Lee says,
Boy.
wait. Rhonda, boxed mac and cheese with peas and veggies and tuna is excellent. I love creamy tuna helper.
Good boy.
I haven't made it in a really long time, but I heated them in the heating sleeve. So the thing that I've heard though was you got to be real careful because if that water comes out, it'll burn you, right?
It can burn.
Yeah.
But
It's
what
super hot.
people would mistake, they have a little line. You only put about this much water in.
Yeah, you don't put a bunch.
You don't put, because people think if they put more in there, it'll get hotter, but it has to have like oxygen that has to breathe. And if you put too much water in there, it'll just bog it down and it doesn't get very hot.
Oh, that makes sense. I haven't. I would imagine that I don't think that I've ever, maybe way back, someone demonstrated and showed it to me. But I know the ones that are supposedly good. The spaghetti's okay.
When I left my situation, I left like 4 cases of MREs in the shed, like in the little closet there. Just couldn't fit them into the Mustang. Just couldn't do it.
It's like when it's like he took everything. You're like, well, it was a Mustang, so
I mean, I couldn't have taken everything.
He could have put a trailer hitch on it. Try man dip. Jimmy Dean sausage, cream cheese, and a can of Rotel tomatoes. Eat with Tostitos. Do you know what I make? I make these cream cheese sausage rolls where I brown the sausage, the ground sausage, drain it, mix it with just cream cheese, roll it up in the crescent roll dough, and bake it. I've never, ever taken it to a gathering where people not liked it. They're like, what is the recipe? Is it a secret? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's very, very easy.
Thank you, Presley. Bottom of the 5th, 0-0.
There you go.
What Presley, I said after the last game, I told everybody
that's right.
at work.
Let it go. You're right.
I told everybody at work that Kyle Wright was going to come out big. He was going to. The bats got to get going, but I knew that Kyle would be doing well pitching.
Stitching, talking about tuna, she makes tuna cake things way better than Joni Portwood. Hey, some of Joni Portwood's her food reviews, she's got it going on. I used to keep screenshots of the thumbnails. I haven't done it in a really long time, but I've seen her review some crazy stuff. Every time I watch The Walking Dead, I'm thinking I need Karen's canned food stash and some MREs. Yes, I have not gotten into The Walking Dead, but I want to. It's over now, right? You have to like catch the reruns. Sean, what was the worst meal you had when you were in the service? What was the worst? You mean is MRE or just like from the mess hall?
I mean,
yeah, probably.
When I was at officer candidate school, they gave us a big serving spoon, like one great big serving spoon, and they took everything that was in the chow hall and you threw it into just a great big soup bowl, and you mixed it all together and you poured milk in it. So a lot of times that just didn't taste real good, but you had about 3 minutes to eat. So that might have been it. So you'd throw like peas and stuff that I don't even like, but you throw it in there, mix it all up with like the rice and the mashed potatoes, and pour milk on it just to cool it off because it would be piping hot. And if you ate it too quick, you'd burn your mouth. But they only gave
you said piping hot. That's
piping
cute.
Hot. You like that word?
Sorry, it was cute. Yeah.
What was the other word we were
Harris
talking about? That
almost had a home run. Swerber caught it.
Schwarber caught it.
Yeah.
Who almost hit it, babe?
Harris.
Oh, Michael Harris. That's who's pitching tonight for the Braves. That's
lovely.
Kyle Wright. And if you look close, there is only 10 of that particular card
Meals
made.
ready to eat, Saint Ratty. That's right. Meals ready to eat is what MRE stands for.
Yes, and that's a little piece of his uniform in there, Kyle Wright.
My aunt made captain in the Navy. So proud of her. Yes, TLA.
Yay.
That's awesome.
Captain in the Navy is
final 8 episodes.
That's like an 06.
So if I catch up, I can.
Right?
Yeah, it's different than
when I showed up at Newport Naval Base in Rhode Island, and I reported, and they asked me my rank, and I said I was a captain. They were going to put me in VIP, in like the really nice VIP housing.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, an Army captain.
You should
I'm
just
an
let them do
03
it.
and not an 06.
And they're like, then go sit down somewhere.
They can take a seat. You'll be on the waiting list with everybody else. Really.
Remember those days? Anybody who's ever been military, you get to that post and you walk into housing and you're like, God, please let there not be a waiting list, or please let some way we qualify to get, because it was expensive.
You had
to find a place, and
it was very, very different when you became an officer.
Yeah, that I would
because
imagine.
When you walk in, they're like, housing, that we don't have any housing, but here's the hotels, and we're going to go ahead and give you an advance, and you just pay for the first week, and
that was the crate, like, because this, when you think about it, like, once you like pack your stuff and take it, once you get out of the housing and they're like, they sign off that you're done with the housing, when you're in transit, you're literally on a wing and a prayer. You are officially have no place to live.
You're homeless, and you've got to,
and you try not to think of it that way, because and you'll call housing and they'll say, well, the waiting list is about like this, but it depends on other things, but you have to get here first before you can get on the list. It's a little bit different now with privatized housing, but I remember we thought we were going to have to drive to Manhattan when we got to Fort Riley. And then we were looking at places, and then they were like, oh, wait, you're PCSing from England. And they're like, you make it to the top of the list because if you come from an overseas assignment.
When I came from Fort Riley, even as I was a second lieutenant, and they said it's a 9-month wait or whatever to get into the brand new housing.
Yes.
We can put you in the other housing, but if you want to wait like 8 to 10 months or whatever, 9 months, you can do that. And then I lived out on Stag Hill out in Manhattan.
So you were first into that house?
I was the very first people to move into it.
Oh, how nice. Yeah, that was how it was at Fort Stewart.
You remember they were building them.
Yeah,
when
but
you were
I
there.
didn't know that you were literally the first person.
I was the first person to live
Is that
in
the
my
carport
house.
that...
No, the carport was Fort Polk. These were the ones that when you were on First Division, where the elementary
awesome.
school was, and then the officer housing was right across the street from the.
Okay, Presley.
You remember that it was the elementary school and the middle school, and then it was a pretty busy road coming up from Main Post, and then the officers lived right. And it's just a fence. I lived in there.
I do.
It would have been a short walk for our hookup if we were going to do that. But you were a doting 20-year-old mom back then.
I'd be like, well, I'm gonna have to structure it between nap times, and then I was also doing home daycare, so it's a pretty tight schedule.
Could you imagine, like, if you were like a young sergeant and you had to drop your kids off at daycare, and you open the door and this is like, hi, I'll be watching your kids. Be like,
you're so sweet.
Be jealous of your kid because the home care provider.
I love doing home daycare. I like taking care of the young and the elderly, but not so much. I'm not into the home daycare thing anymore. Too much can happen. You know what I mean?
So grateful. Yeah. Saint Ratty says it's getting scary in the world. North Korea testing nuclear weapons, Ukraine and Russia. Not to make light at all of Ukraine thing going on with Russia attacking Ukraine. Have you noticed though that the Ukraine has just all of a sudden they're telling the world about their rebuilding plan, and they're moving on, and Russia's over here going.
Russia's like, we're still here.
We're still attacking you, and the Ukraine is like, no, you've had your year. We're rebuilding. I thought that was.
Hey, Sarah Smiles.
I think that's pretty kick-ass.
Very cool. What are you making, Sarah Smiles? No, I do too. That was the other day when it was on the news. I was like, Sean, they're rebuilding. They're getting grants to rebuild. And Russia's like, hello.
Russia's like, well, we're going to attack this city, and they're like, no.
But they're using they're using their really old tanks and stuff now because Ukraine has official. I mean, they're and it's like a little struggling country like during the revolution who fought back, and nobody thought they'd be able to do it.
I will tell you this: when I was in Iraq,
I have them. I'm trying to read that.
The Ukrainians were. Was Ukraine and another country over there that were in Iraq with us after the initial invasion, and they're a pretty proud bunch, man. And you got to think if somebody invades your country, what you'll do to protect your family and to protect where
There's all kinds of actors that came over here that have gone back to fight.
There's athletes.
There was like one of the stars of Nashville that was married to a Ukrainian like boxer or something. he went back and is fighting.
They're
like
calling off
yeah.
like UFC fighters, tennis players,
Yeah.
you know, soccer players. They're going home to fight. That's, you wouldn't expect that from an American athlete in World War II time frame. There was athletes, baseball players, you know, that put their careers on hold to go fight. But you wouldn't see, I mean, the money, American athletes make so much money that they wouldn't consider it. Not too many of them would. Pat Tillman.
Yeah. But I mean, I bet it would be different if they went over there and then found out the United States was being attacked. I bet you they might.
It's just weird. You'd think.
The president's an actor.
Yeah.
Of Ukraine. He was like, and he's turning out to be a pretty good president.
Well, back in the day, you know, Ronald Reagan, he was an actor before he was in politics.
Sarah, did you see all that crap go down over the last couple of days? Sarah is another one that, like the rest of you, has super mad respect for the military.
Yeah, I thank everybody for that. I mean,
even
when that starts to
I got
pop
word
off.
Durizel even
When that stuff starts to pop off, I just go find something to do. Y'all got that.
Yeah.
Y'all handle that stuff. I just go, Audie Murphy, that's one right.
Oh, wow.
I was talking about it in the last stream. Ted Williams is one of the greatest ball players ever. Had, you know, a Hall of Fame career, took 3 years off to go fight, and then came back and resumed his career.
That is
crazy.
Saint Reddy, I'm Aussie. When 9/11 happened, my son was 6 months old. I got woken up. I thought it was a movie. I thought it was too when I first saw it. Realized it was real. I cried, and it was something I'll never forget.
I forget how old we are. You know, our generation, our kids that are in high school, the younger kids that are just starting high school, they weren't alive for 9/11.
So Tanner was born in 2000, and it happened in 2001. So he doesn't remember seeing it, but he remembers kind of as he grew up, because it was they still celebrate it. And that was what made him decide that, he saw these people that had gone and enlisted, that, and his father and his stepfather is too, but he enlisted before that. And he grew up ready to join the cause.
I mean, what was our thing? Growing up, I was born in 1969, so I don't remember Vietnam. But it was kind of like that as I started to, when you're like 6 years old, 8 years old, that was just the late 70s. That's, Vietnam had just ended. And then, so I was, 9 when you were born?
Well, yeah, were you 9? Rhonda said, a Russian guy, I watch his channel, Dan Shikos, was telling his story about draft last week.
Hey, Sin. Sin is here.
Hey, Sin. Saint Ratty was born in 1977. Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving. Am I super ready now? No, not yet.
No.
Hopefully we'll get
We just pulled all the Halloween stuff out of the shed. You were putting a video together of that, weren't you?
Yes, I finished editing the Home Depot haul, putting all the stuff in it. I tell you what, and I'm not going to do this. That's not why I'm saying this, but I do understand when these people that put together these documentaries and true crime things of any length, and then they plug their Patreon and say this is where you can. I understand why, because mine was only 10 minutes long, and to actually edit it like you need to, it takes a while. So now I kind of understand, because I used to go, why. I mean, I throw a tip here and there, but it takes time.
As a public affairs, when I was doing public affairs, I understood what it took to take a bunch of pictures and just send them for them to publish it and produce something. Yeah, I get it. If somebody, people get a hard time because they even something like people tour cemeteries and stuff or abandoned malls and things like that. You're right. It takes they're putting in a lot of work to make it quality.
Yeah. I understand that, Misty Lee.
Yep.
He's they're skipping Thanksgiving. Ben is gone, and she just doesn't feel like it. Yeah, wow. He's deployed, right? I'm right. That's I know 2 Misties that spouses are both deployed. I want to go on a hayride.
One Thanksgiving in Iraq, one Christmas in Iraq. Do you guys remember
Rhonda.
when Iraq, the first year we were in Iraq and the president showed up in Iraq. Do you guys remember that? I was there at BIOP when he showed up. It was pretty
Romania,
phenomenal,
that's right.
whether you liked the president or not, or agreed with the war or not. So it was Christmas of 2003, and you remember the president went to Iraq. That was pretty high speed when that happened. And
He
I happened
landed
to,
in a.
he landed in Air Force One. He flew it right over.
Is that when he had the banner that said "Job accomplished"? Or
no, that was this was Christmas. The job accomplished was way earlier, but it was Christmas, and we were doing whatever we were doing for Christmas because we weren't at home, and
good.
the colonel was like that I was working for was giving everybody like if you want to leave this convoy and go back to our fob, enjoy the day you can, and I chose to just stay with everybody because those were my people, right? And so we went to the Baghdad International Airport, and we're all kind of hanging out. There's a lot of people there for some reason, and all of a sudden, as we're sitting there, they shut all the lights out.
Hey, Tammy.
It was blackout. They cut all the lights and all the power.
Megan's in class.
And the plane landed in the dark. And
That's crazy.
We didn't know why, but they brought Air Force down in pitch black dark. So the pilot had to fly it and land it that way.
Just using his.
We had no idea it was coming. Nobody knew.
Yeah, but using just his
whatever they
instruments.
Whatever they do.
Megan's here. Megan Matt.
Hey, Megan. You said she was in class.
Yep, she's in class.
But the thing is when you're sitting around like in a war zone and all of a sudden the lights go out, it freaks you out a little bit.
Lisa says, hold on. A lot of us defended your honor, Sean, and the military yesterday in her stream, and she banned us. One of her mods told her to take back their wrench. It never goes well. It doesn't. I don't know. She has this I guess it's a narcissistic way of thinking that this time she's going to be able to convince everyone that what she's saying is true.
There's no
contrary to anything.
And I don't even think that
she thinks she's going to convince people.
She doesn't, and it's not even that. There's a little bit of that. If she can get two people to believe it, that's whatever.
She wasn't getting anyone.
But it's more about just sticking it to me.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. And I'm not even listening to it. I'm at work, and that's what it's about. Yeah. I mean, that's for whatever demented thing it is.
There's nothing and of all the things like. You can't, like when she tries to go for his looks, let me tell you something. There ain't nothing wrong with the way he looks. My hands are all over him all the time. But anyways, that sounds cheeky, but that is my point.
It's one of those things now like that's that particular person in that particular situation is just kind of part of the drama community. It just always is. It's like that corner of the drama community, and it never changes.
Yeah.
Everyone else has kind of evolved a little bit. If you look at everybody, you look at Randy and Diane and Wendy and everybody else that still drama community, Savage and Pirate and Shannon, and everybody has kind of evolved into what they do now. And they have good channels. They live and you learn, but there's certain people that just don't learn. They just don't learn.
Hope you're right. It says she's trying to hurt and upset Mandi too, but the reason she's trying to do that is if she feels like if I get upset enough, it'll affect him. I last I checked.
Hey, Carrie White, she's unblocked.
She got unblocked.
Yay.
I told you. Last I checked, like when I woke up this morning, I'm still his wife. And he's my husband. I mean, there's nothing you can do that gets through.
That is the most frustrating thing about being mired in a certain relationship. And you guys might have been there. I know that some of y'all have shared it. It's like you don't learn. You got to live and learn. It's just insanity to do the same thing over and over when it hurts you. When it hurts you and it takes away from your family and it takes away from your life and it takes away from the quality of things. It's like my psychiatrist told me. You remember I told the story about the tiger and all that, but the psychiatrist was like, it wasn't my therapist, it was my psychiatrist, and that was the thing is, she was like, how many times do you have to grab a red hot, burner? How many times you got to grab it, and how many times you got to get burnt up before you stop grabbing it? You know, is just one of the analogies. It's like some people
That's kind of like alcoholism. People talk about that too.
You know it's going to damage you. You know it's going to hurt. You know it's bad, but you keep doing it.
Carrie's dad died in June. He was a Vietnam veteran.
Oh.
Yeah, the ugly radiates on. I try to catch people's comment. I don't mean to like just move on when people say that. I think sometimes I sound callous, but
sometimes when we're in our stream, we you know, she'll be telling a story and I'll read the chat and and vice versa. But, you know,
we're still working on, like, I'm so, like, don't want to, if someone takes the time to type it, you guys know that. I want to read it, but we're still trying to coordinate not talking over each other. And I know it's mostly me talking over him.
Hey, Jacqueline.
But we're still new to this thing, right?
I like it that we don't have to slow the chat down. You know, we don't have 400 people in here. We're all kind of just hanging out together. And
St. Ratty said, who has to fake the big O on a live? That shit is gross.
Oh my God.
But the point that we've always tried to make, like, and I'm only half joking when I'm like, right here, right there. What she does at this point, since he's no longer legally attached, we're married, we live in this house in this state with she only exists on here. Yeah. That's all she exists. And that's okay. Like, I think it's fantastic y'all have his back and our back, but I think she's realized that at this point, her hold on him
just looking
is
into
gone.
the camera.
This is it. This is all you exist on.
About every so often, I remind myself, you know, like I like doing YouTube. I've done it. I've been doing it for a while. I've been in a bunch of different channels that have had, but you know, if you keep your life full, work, family, joy, you know, hobbies or whatever, this right here is fun. You know, you guys got stuff to do in your life, but you know, you guys can be doing a lot of things, and you choose to. And most of y'all that are here choose to hang out with us. You know, but you know, we do this to be fun. You know, sure, we're gonna drag people, and we get down into the drama every once in a while. 'Cause that's where we came from on YouTube. But I like doing this.
Yeah,
I like doing this.
He really does. He's always when the first time we streamed together and did Sally's thing. I don't think before that he realized he was gonna like it. And after we did it, he was like, I like that. And so it became a thing. But he'd always only seen the bad side of it.
Yeah, well, when I left after the Evita thing, when I left and I started doing the Tomahawk Sean channel, it was popular. I mean, there's a lot of people that watched. They were genuinely interested in where I was and what I was doing. And it was cool, but it was still like in the wake of a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped. I stopped doing Tomahawk Sean when I was doing good. And I just wanted to be with her. I wanted to do this stuff with her instead. So, but yeah.
But I also don't, you know, flip on a live when he's walking through the door from work acting like a freaking insane person.
You're not 2 hours into some insanity thing.
Yeah, that he has
you know, and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to grab my fishing rod and go fishing, you know, or I'm going to take a third shift job.
I think that when in the apartment, I did a few panels like with Savage and stuff, but I think the only one that I've done here was with Paula a few weeks ago or whatever. I did that one.
But I was amazed at how the reception was for us when we first started streaming together.
We didn't think it would be good at all.
Well, we didn't know. We thought it would take
Let me grab
a lot more work, but y'all were here for it, you know.
Yeah. We're going to catch up. Look, but he wanted to come up here and show you his, where did he drop it?
Loretta said, Sean, you never looked relaxed.
No. He had no color in his face.
Or happy when you were on camera with the beast. You always looked sad. Well, I was always doing like some damage control. But see, I was good at it.
He raises the roof.
But it was like, I never really got a chance to do my thing. Really wasn't allowed to do it. You know, there's...
well, you said the streams that y'all did together...
The streams that she and I did together were her most popular streams.
And that was not okay.
You know, and you know, I'm not talking about like whenever she would, you know, have a meltdown or have a lot of the replay, you know, people would, you know, the word would go around and she'd get a lot of views that way. But the live audiences, as it was unfolding when we were doing collabs together, And I would point that out. I was like, we need to do more together. She didn't like it. No one's allowed to have that thunder at all. I mean, that's why she can't, you don't ever see her collabing with anybody. You know, just can't.
Loretta says, you look so freaking happy. It's like night and day. Lisa says, isn't Sawyer cute? But Lisa says, Mandi is healing your soul. We're kind of healing each other's soul. I was broken too, from some stuff that happened. Not like horrible stuff, but
but it takes its toll.
We had a renewed faith and love that it exists.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I thought that enough things had happened in my marriage, mutually, as far as that goes, that wasn't going to happen for me. We were just going to ride out this thing.
That's how it is. You guys know that there's certain things that you notice about other people that you just decide, well, I don't get to get that. You know, people who had like really wealthy parents and they had this wonderful, and you know, I had a good childhood. I'm not saying me, but I know other people would say, well, I just don't get that. I don't get to have that. You know, so for me, it was like, I don't get to, you know, be this close. You know, I don't get the romantic love of my life that she is. I mean, this gal is very romantic woman. Very likes to hold me, and she likes to be touched. And I like to do that. You know, I like to do that. And I just didn't think that that was going to be something that I was going to have. That wasn't for me. That wasn't in the cards for better or for worse, you know. But it is.
Hey, Mama Ricky.
You know?
And I also, like, the thing was it was a no-brainer. If I had, there was no question of it. Once we fell in love, it was like, I'm not going to go the rest of my life without him. I'm not. So whatever that takes, and it took me saying, we're going to call this. We should have called it, not me and you, but me and him, we're going to call it. It's time to call it. And it was like, okay. And then it's just doing and
it's sad, even when you know it's time, it's sad.
It is. It's very sad. Well, I had a moment when my divorce was final. It's not anything, you know, you think you make it 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And then if you mess it up enough, then you start going 30 more years. And I'm desperately in love with this person. And it was a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, and I remember when...
Look how I made it the whole screen, Sean.
Look.
That's good, though.
But, like, look what Ricky was saying about finding
I don't have
her husband. But put the glasses on. Put the glasses on.
I've been with my man for like 21 years. That's right, Carrie. I knew that you had a long-term boyfriend as well. Yeah, it's a good thing we were both wrong. Can you imagine? That sounds just like her. Can you imagine?
What had happened was
within 5 days, it was going to be forever.
Yeah.
5 days, and we hadn't even met each other yet. And
Sawyer's like
30 years we hadn't even met each other yet. And then I guess I already knew, but Sean was like, there was part of me that was like thinking, well, we need to meet, and he didn't say this, and make sure that we both aren't just like super rebound. It wasn't.
I mean, but you also remember where I was. You know, where I was,
right.
My mindset and my...
we love you too, Carrie.
You know, I was very not doing as well as I am now.
Yeah.
But I remember, I had a thought that I was thinking about. Today I was thinking about Mandi and I, and you ever just sit around wherever you're at work or whatever, and you think about your partner, or you think about your husband, your wife, or whatever. And one of the moments, you know, those first moments, I remember when the first time she said she loved me, and it was by text. And I had been driving, and one of the things that Mandi did for me before I was physically with her is I did a lot of driving, you know, around, you know, when I had left North Carolina, I was driving to, you know, Asheville, I was driving to Cincinnati, I was driving to Atlanta, and she was texting me, and we would have these conversations. And I remember as I was pulling into my daughter's house, and, you know, I knew that I loved her. I knew it, you know. But when she texted, I love you, it was like, oh my God, it was like a relief. It was like, yes.
And
You
that,
know,
yeah,
it was
that's
like,
how
yes.
it
It
was.
was like, okay, good. Because it was so soon.
When we were
You know, it
talking
was
about
so
hooking
soon.
up, and it's like, okay, we'll hook up. It's, you
Yeah.
know, that's why we had to have a conversation, because I was like, let me just say, you can come out here and do whatever, but this is my concern. I'm really falling for you. So it's almost, I don't think that it can just be a hit it and quit it. And he was like, I feel the same way. And I was like, okay, because we're teetering on some dangerous area that's going to turn around and be
it was
forever.
Very quick. And, you know, we hadn't done what my parents call shit work. We hadn't done any
it's okay,
shit work.
Carrie. It's totally okay.
You know, that's what,
Yes,
you know,
at the
when,
end of the
you
day.
know, the whole thing about dating and figuring this out and we did none of that shit work. We were just like, I'm coming to Texas. I went back and forth a few times. She came to Atlanta a couple times. And the easy part for me was getting to Texas. I had a car full of stuff. The rest of it was in storage. So that wasn't very difficult for me. Mandi knows it took me forever to even unpack my bags because I was just so used to coming and going to my situation. Once I got to Texas, I think that once we got moved in together, it really started, like it took root. You know, it was like we were a long distance relationship at first that was desperate. You know, it was like we couldn't be apart, but we had to be. You know, she had to, you know, leave her situation, and you know, it's 1,000 miles between here and Austin, and that's
why I don't like
Levi.
I don't like driving
it's
the MARTA
16. If you get in the car and you go and drive, it's 16 hours.
Yeah.
I think that I drove it 4 times. Twice I drove it straight through, and twice I stopped. Well, one time I met you in Dallas, but
that was when you were coming for good, right?
Yeah, you met me in Dallas then, right?
And we got a hotel room that overlooked. It was not baseball season, or they weren't there, but it overlooked the stadium.
It had really good rates at that stadium because it was used for football games and baseball games, so it's almost always packed with. But you know, neither was going on at the time, so we got, it was really nice, Crown Plaza, and they were redoing it. I'm
gonna read this real quick. So at the end of the day, says, I've never seen someone go after an ex as much as she has, especially when they supposedly are the one who didn't want it anymore. She is just pissed that Sean didn't come begging to come home. And that's absolutely true. But the other thing I want to bring up, if I read all of these comments and I read them out loud and respond to them, we're allowed to do that. Like anybody, like, she certainly has her fill of talking about whatever, and go do it, whatever, nobody cares. But all of these people, if I read it out loud and it happens to be about the beast, she suddenly thinks that she's relevant and that's all we do. I don't think she understands there's 54 people other than a couple of people that nobody else, they're all on our side.
Wow.
They all support you.
Read at the end of the day's comment. Her divorce trial is in December. 29
no.
After 29 years.
Is it getting contentious? Braves are up 2-0. Is it contentious? Is it a bad divorce? Love your love. Thank you. Love your love story. It melts my heart. You all have Tammy. A wonderful night. Have a good night, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
Yeah, divorces, even if they're expected.
Even when you want them.
Yeah.
And I knew, and mine is like a different layer of just psycho. It was like, I knew mine was going to be exhausting.
Yeah,
and she stood right with me.
They're always sad, but in this one, when it finally got signed,
it was going to be more exhausting. And I say this once, I said it a million times. This is a hell of a woman to stand by me the whole time. It was a blessing that she was on YouTube and was in the community and kind of saw where I came from. I mean, it would be totally understandable if she was like, bro, whatever, but go figure that out and then come find me afterwards, But
when the paralegal sent the email and it said, congratulations, Mr. Curley, you are divorced, and sent the thing, Sean was like jumping up and down, running up and down the hall. I mean, it is, literally he was. It was like, and it came through on both because I was courtesy copied. Mm-hmm. And I looked at it and I was like, do you see that? And he looked at it and he was like, Oh my! And it
Yeah.
said, she
But I
said,
remember-
"You're done."
Remember, you had to crawl into bed too. If you go back into our community post from,
When your divorce was final.
when I have, it's a picture of you.
It
We were
might
going to
be.
go live because we knew it was over, and
Oh.
everybody was waiting for us to go live about it. And
I
I
do
said, we
remember
gotta
that.
we gotta do this tomorrow. And it was a picture of you when you were sleeping,
Yeah.
and it was like, it's been exhausting and this and that.
It was.
So we're gonna regroup, and then I think we did it the next day or 2 days.
It was
later,
something like that. When she showed the community post that said "Thank the Lord" and there was no stamps or anything on it, but she showed that thing up, and everybody was like, "Is that a divorce decree?" And I remember we were like, "Nope," but this is, and it had this stamp from the judge finalizing it. Her
Yep.
copy didn't have all that.
Yep.
But we got it, and I was like, we opened it.
Lovely. Lisa said, I remember that.
I said,
and
do
if
you have
if
the-
you go back through our community, all our little community pictures, you'll see it, and it would have been
We finally just got
been
to.
August of 2020,
Yeah.
and
It
yeah,
was done. It was finished.
and she was sleeping like a baby, and I was so happy
Oh
for
my gosh.
her. So
I get to see Corey Feldman again on number the 5th VIP booth and another meet and greet. Oh my gosh!
wow,
At the Hard Rock Casino, I get in there with a sister and a best friend. That's awesome.
that is cool. Does he still tour with
No,
the
it's
Angels?
cool.
With the Angel, the
I don't
gals?
think he does. I think that went south.
Yeah, does
They
he?
ended
I
up
mean,
maybe though, but Karma is a big B because she's gotten another girlfriend and moved to Missouri, and I just found out they broke up. See, they'll screw themselves at the end of the days. A lot that happens more often than not. Someone's like, I'm leaving, I want to be with somebody else. The divorce starts, that person falls through, and it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and cancel that. Like, no, you hit the road.
But so at the end of the day, you can come hang out because it's going to be a
Night
pretty,
stitching.
it's going to be a pretty emotional holiday season for you.
Yeah.
Even though you want this to happen, even though you're going to be able to officially get on with the rest of your life, it's going to be emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been through it.
Is she, the Beast can say what she wants to about Sean. She knows in her heart of hearts, she is not going to find somebody else like him that takes her as she is, that rolls with it. She's not going to find that.
Yeah, and at the end of the
It's
day,
not.
said, I would never talk about him the way she speaks of Sean. And boy, do I have reasons to be angry at her. But he is the father of my children. We loved each other for a very long time and spent many years together. Yeah, that's why, even when I have my problems with Jessica, I don't come on here and talk crap about her because that's the mother of my children. And there's reasons that I could. She's been on here and not talked so well about me sometimes, but I don't do that. It doesn't. It's
especially not after years and years and years. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows exactly. He was supposed to, like a good little boy, come back. But unfortunately, Mrs. ATX was like, you want to give me a try? Because I can be much nicer.
Yeah, I'll take a few laps around the
Can
track
I
with her.
just give me, if it's not, you can, if you don't like it, go.
So Butters loves Casio says Feldman was a child actor. My favorite movie that Corey Feldman was in was The Burbs, the Tom Hanks movie.
I never saw that.
Carrie Fisher was in it. And
Goonies, I
there
love
Corey Feldman was, y'all remember that movie, The Burbs? Excellent movie. We'll have to watch it.
We'll have to watch it. I've never seen it.
Tom Hanks is the main actor and Carrie Fisher's his wife.
We touched on it last time. The other thing
it.
was when he moved to Texas and, he was ready to conquer the world in a day and start school and do this and do that. And I was like, no,
3-0, I see it.
I said, no, you don't need to work or go to school or anything right away.
For y'all that didn't know, I know most of you know, this Presley got me this shirt.
Yeah.
So
We have been blessed by all of our friends in so many different ways.
you have to watch the outtakes of The Burbs. I bet. Rick Dukeman was in The Burbs, and he was a stand-up comedian. He's passed away, but he was in that movie. It was a great
cult
cast.
classic, right?
What's the one? Who played the kid?
Stand By Me was.
Who was
good.
the redheaded kid who played the kid for the Klopex family? It'll come to me. He was in Children of the Corn. He played the creepy kid. It was an
Malachi?
excellent. He was in it, but he wasn't Malachi. It'll come to me. There was a bunch of people in that movie. It was a good movie.
Oh, did she, Carrie? I only saw her for a second, and she was driving, acting crazy, talking about saying the DYKES word. She was like saying that or whatever.
And then my second favorite Corey Feldman movie was Lost Boys, and everybody knows good. Lost Boys. So
at the end of the day, you know what? You summed it up perfectly. It says, when the beast says, they talk about me all the time, it makes me so angry because you two have never shared her personal issues. You respond to her accusations and attacks. She has me blocked. That's why I'm always like...
Trying to know who you were talking about, and he was in Secret Admirer too.
Who's that?
Yeah. He's been in a bunch of movies, that actor. But I remember that Children of the Corn, and then this one.
I want to see that movie this weekend. What is that movie called? That horror movie?
Smile.
I want to see that. Has anyone seen it yet? What's wrong, Sawyer Brown? You tired?
He's like, you guys.
You know, it gets a weird
Sawyer
look
Brown
on
is like,
he gets in a weird
every
mood.
night with you guys. Every night.
But you know how when your dog's in a weird mood, and you know their normal moods, and you're like, well, that's a weird mood. I think he's tired.
Here we go. I'm looking up the cast of The Burbs right now.
At the end, yeah. I want to know, has anyone seen Smile, or is it just coming out? Can we see it? We have that gift card to the Olive Garden. We can go to the Olive Garden.
Courtney Gaines. That's who I was talking about.
You want to go on a date with me? We always do this, and then we get too tired.
Yeah.
But I want to see it so bad. My doggy's acting like, yeah. It's been a couple of days now that he's been doing it, and he's not sick or anything. He's just in a weird kind of contemplative mood, I guess. It does look like a creepy movie.
They called The Burbs a comedy horror movie. It wasn't really a horror movie. They tried to have the creepy people, but it was a funny movie.
I want to see it. I remember the poster was him with a cup of coffee in his bathrobe, right?
Yeah.
I never saw it, but I just
It's
remember
about the neighborhood. It's about the neighborhood. Remember I mentioned it the one time that our neighborhood is like the Burbs?
Oh.
So it's like, yeah, he's a workaholic, and he finally takes a vacation, and all he wanted to do for vacation was kind of hang out at home.
Night, Rhonda.
So that's what he's doing. He's kind of, and he watches the neighbor. There goes the neighborhood. Everybody was.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to give it a go. I do think that pets, maybe not like necessarily the full moon, but they go through the same thing like the full moon, like humans do. The Handmaid's Tale. Okay, I watched that episode, like a couple of them. It really, really creeped me out when they were doing whatever, and the head was in the wife's lap, and he supposedly that doesn't happen a whole lot in it, but it freaked me out. Freak. Have you seen The Handmaid's Tale?
No.
Oh, it
See,
creeps me out.
This is the Corey Feldman. I'm looking up the Corey Feldman movies. There's The Burbs. That's just exactly what you're talking about.
That was it.
But he was in Stand By Me, The Goonies, The Lost Boys, of course. And he had quite the run for a while. I didn't know he was in a Friday the 13th movie.
I didn't know that either.
He's 51 too. You know
Is he?
Yeah.
Does
Anyway.
he
He was in a Friday the 13th movie. I did not know that.
Let me see this real quick.
Oh, you want me to get it back going for you? Yeah.
I can't off because they both won't fit. Let me see.
Okay. Now hold on.
Now
let
I
me do
can
the
see.
whole,
It's
Let
okay.
me do the live chat for you.
Dream a little dream.
Dream a Little Dream, yup. Jessica liked that movie. That was one of Jessica's movies that she liked.
You know what movie I liked though, which is really creepy? Waterworld.
That was Kevin Costner.
I don't think anybody in the world liked. Well, I know. I just make it go where I did it before because I don't know.
This used to be her phone.
Is The Patient good at the end of the day? My husband and I want to watch it. The Patient? I must have missed something. Thank you. Is The Patient good at the end of the day? Oh, okay. Let me look. I don't know why I'm yawning. Hey, Texas girl, or tax girl, how are you? I don't think anybody has seen Smile. It doesn't look like. Hey, Kay, that's who they were saying hi to.
Since The movies just, ever since COVID, the movie theater hasn't taken back a hold again. You know, we went to this.
Tam Tam goes every freaking day.
That's probably why no one else goes. But you know, we went to this. Actors were still making material, and then it was going straight to like
Mentor
pay-per-view. You know, and because
yeah, and that has hurt the movie, the theater industry. Mentor is pitching.
Oh, AJ Minter's in.
So did the pitching coach come out?
What did I say? I said to everybody at work that Kyle Wright was going to be lights out, and he was today. He was tonight.
I do see smile. Oh, did you last Friday? Was it good? Was it good, Carrie? But yeah, I think this weekend we're gonna do it. We're gonna go on Friday.
We're gonna do it.
And no, well, that's a given. We're gonna go on Friday. Probably not.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
I would
Saturday.
like to.
You have pretty eyes. I'm not hitting on you. I'm a pretty
I'm
a guaranteed thing.
Why not? I want you to hit on me. I want you to. I'm easy when it comes to you. You can.
When The Walking Dead finishes up, I think I'm gonna give it a try. Tanner loved The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm yawning like this. I never do that.
Is it the Xanax again?
I never do that.
Well, it is late.
I make fun of people.
You had a busy day today.
Even when I am tired, I don't yawn.
And you don't like when people yawn and go,
y'all do know that's where that came from. When we talked about it the other day, still into the Hawks. Yes, I am. Even more so now that Russell Wilson's gone. Because
you mean the Atlanta Hawks? Yeah, she likes them.
That's what I thought at first, and I was like, do they ever win? And it's like, oh, the Seahawks.
I pulled out at the end of the day. I pulled out all my Geno Smith rookie cards from like 8 years ago when he first came into the league with the Jets. Yes.
Yeah. Smile was good. Okay. At least you're okay. So that's what we said the other day. He and I agreed live, and I said, "Yeah, I don't like it when
sound
people
like a water buffalo.
I don't when people yawn and make it all dramatic and whatever. I don't like that." And Sean was like, "Yeah, that is kind of irritating." That's what precipitated that entire display or whatever of yawns or whatever, and it's kind of funny.
I just can't.
He's like, I can't.
I can't with that, man. I'm so.
But this is my narc.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, don't you hate it when
lean in?
When drunk people, we were. I
am so in love with this woman. So look at this. Look at the camera.
But listen,
the glasses. You got your glasses on.
I'm very in
love with this woman.
You're gonna make me turn red. Here's the speaking of like, we were talking about when people get really, really drunk, and you're like, listen, and you're sitting there going, what? And then they're like,
they go, wow,
and then or they'll be like, oh my god, okay, so, and you're just like, so when you get sober and someone does that, you're like, I gotta go. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I can handle people drinking and have a good time, but when it gets to that level of drunk, I'm like, yeah, not so much. Just like shh. And you're
it's almost superstition right now that I'm not going to watch the game because it's like.
But we are.
But they're doing so good right now. It's like.
You're like, you don't want to. I want to see at least some of it.
We can watch the last couple innings. It's what's bottom of the seventh right now, Presley. Is that what it is? Like I'm listening, like she's gonna go. Yes.
She's giving you the good news.
Yes, Sean. It's the bottom of the seventh.
Bottom
Braves. Of the seventh, Braves.
Poor Sean had to deal with that slug for 10 years.
So
now, how long were you actually married?
7.
No, you were.
Okay, so
hold on.
Shh. Hold on. Shh. Okay. Listen.
And you're like,
so February 2012 to August 20, so 8.5.
2020.
Yeah, we separated. Vita would have been 7 years, and then another year.
But you were with her stupid ass for 2 years before you got divorced.
Right. It was so the first date
she hung around for 2 freaking years for that.
September, the end of August, beginning of September 2009. to April of 2019. So almost 10 years, like 9.5 years together. And then the divorce. Yeah. So 8.5 years.
Ironically, okay, so she hung on 2 years for his divorce to be final for different reasons, that paperwork, things like that. I love him. That's part of it. But I also hung around, waited for 2 years because he's incredible in every way, but really incredible, whatever. So I get you, Beast. I know why you stayed for 2 years waiting for his divorce to be final, because you were getting the good.
So at the end of the day, says Sean, you aren't going to take you aren't going to take away her dildo shop, are you? You got it. You won't take anything from her ever again. I'm not going to take anything from her because I'm too busy giving it to her.
If she opens up a dildo shop in that little hole in the wall that I saw on Paula's community page, nobody's going to come in there to buy adult toys. It looks like the free candy store. You know what I mean? Come on in. We have adult toys. It looks like something out of a butcher shop or something.
You think?
I did, but that's what I'm saying. You hung around 2 years for that good. I gotcha. You just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Gabby. Hey, Gabby. Quick, I might sound long, but sending positive vibes. Thank you, Gabby. How are you? How is everybody back home?
We're watching we're here, but my Braves are on TV.
It's a secondhand dildo shop. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Okay, so the problem with dildo shops is that why would you buy it in a store when you can order them online? Because I don't know, unless you go to those truck stops where you're not comfortable. That's where they used to have them, right? Truck stops, and people would go get them there because it was. Now we're in the 2022 where everybody's doing that, and you order it online or do whatever.
Everybody's saying hi to Gabby.
I can honestly say I don't have one. Need one, don't have one. And no offense to those of you who are happily married that you
and
have.
We had this little bit of discussion. We had that discussion about like toys and this and that. And I mean, and it's not we can sit there and say we don't need them because we don't. But I mean, neither of us I was never into them.
The big thing for me is to be into it without saying I have to have the emotional attachment. There has to be the person with it. I can't just take the appendage and make it happen. And those of you who can't, hats off to you. But I've never been one that's able to do. I mean, to me, it's it's the whole thing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. When you get to talking
now, I haven't
dirty,
slept with a bunch of people. My what do you call it? Body count's very low.
32.
30. Well, do you count the half one?
I count from 5 to 25.
But do you guys see what I'm saying? I just don't. I think girls that whether they're single or married or whatever, that really enjoy that, more power to you. That's not the thing. I just never really. It doesn't do it for me.
You know who else said that? In an interview, someone asked Pink that. And I don't know
really?
why.
And what'd she say?
I don't know why she said I got to have the real thing. Is what she said.
That's just it.
And I don't know why I remember the video or that interview or why I like Pink. I'm a fan of Pink.
And then half the guys in the country were, well, let me help you out with it.
Yeah. People were like,
men were like,
I don't remember the context.
Loretta agrees.
But they asked her straight up. They're like, so toys or not? And she goes, no, I like being with it, and I like the real thing. I got to have that, and I like having,
yes,
a man, and she was
right at the end of the day. The other thing is, you can do the research. You can get HPV from a dirty sex toy. Just saying. It doesn't have to.
From my understanding, you can get it from anything.
Right, but you can get it from that.
Yeah, it's not as uncommon as people think.
No.
Yeah.
What did Let It Go? Oh, did Let It Go get frisky? Hold on. I was liked of a man's body. Yeah.
The way. Yeah. I mean, that's how people are. Some people don't, but a lot of people like that.
Some people would prefer just okay, have a good night, and they go do their thing or whatever.
I've always said, when it came to cheating and stuff like that, You guys can say, like, people have their opinions about us. You know, she was married, I wasn't divorced yet. That's whatever. But as far as like when you're in a committed relationship, when you're, you know, like cheating behind people's backs and all that, to me it was never worth it. To me it was like I always would say, no, I mean, to have an affair, you know, it's like nobody treats me like me. You know, and that's, I mean, that it's like I can
used to say that.
it's like I won't ever.
You won't kiss and tell on yourself.
No, but I mean, but it's like, you know, when the people say,
Yes.
well, if they're out of town or whatever and this and that, I've never thought about the effort of trying to like develop something on the side. I just, no, it's just not me.
And that was the thing
You know, it's
too,
not who I
when
am.
we decided to hook up and be together or whatever, I had to be on the up and up real quick. I had to be like, look, this is done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand people who can for years carry on. Like I said, we get accused by her of being together since, you know, when at 2015, whatever. I would have.
Yeah, I wish we were.
He would have had a lot less grief and we would have already been together.
Yeah, I mean,
but it didn't happen that way.
I remember when we first came out together and this and that, and within like the first 10 days, Randy tweeted, and it was a valid tweet. She said somebody got left, or somebody got, either she said somebody got left or somebody got hurt, and it wasn't TT. And she was talking about your husband, who nobody really knew. And I remember
like, he's doing just
yeah, but she asked it because it was kind of like the elephant in the room. It was like, well, what about Mandi's husband? You know, and it was like, and I was like,
oh, Loretta, I'll go ahead, finish, and then I'll say it.
I had said, I answered. I said, so we're supposed to come on YouTube and tell you how awful her marriage was and this and that. And she said, no, that was a good answer. It's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was.
And when someone leaves her, it was cheating, her go-to, playing victim. It's not her, it's everyone else. And Gabby, I'm glad that she said that. The dates-wise with her, again, there was no cheating. He was just done.
and there every once in a while when like
and he was done quickly.
When people don't like us and they try to double down in the drama community and say, well, they're both a bunch of cheaters, like and that's just whatever. This is the drama community. You can keep the self-righteousness wherever.
Oh, yeah.
But here in this community, people keep their personal lives personal, but people like a little bit of smut here.
Yep.
They do. It's like, I'm not saying that as an excuse, but go ahead and talk about how, you know, she was still married and this and that. Hey, naturally vain. Go ahead. See what it gets you.
So a couple things.
People are all right with
us.
Let
It Go said she used to be a freak, and that's why she probably has a bad back. Go Let It Go.
Every once in a while, Mandy's like, let's do this tonight. And I'm
no, but Let It Go says
I know, but I'm agreeing with her. It's like, and I have to remind Mandi, I have like 2 vertebrae that still work.
And then the other one is Loretta said, okay, so the sex boutique has a new name and it got leaked. And so I'm sitting there going, what? She said it's 100 miles of bad road.
Oh, no.
I'm assuming you're just being funny. That's not really.
It's called Road Hard and Put Up Wet.
It's the same principle of rigging a string to a dildo with no base. You don't want it being. I love Mama Ricky. She says the funniest things, and what I especially love is that every single one of Mama Ricky's comments gets auto held.
Yeah, they hide it. We got to approve it. I mean, how many? I've got to know.
Loretta.
Troll accounts.
I love it.
Troll accounts, whatever. Ricky, how many channels have you lost in your
Twitter is
social
they've taken lots of
media
Twitters,
career?
Yeah.
I mean, how many would you figure that you just?
Is he? At one time he was IP banned from Twitter, and I think what finally got him IP banned wasn't even that bad.
Twitter's getting crazy. I put GIFs, under responding to people. They're like, I put these little GIFs that I've been using for years, and now I'm getting a warning for them.
So Gabby, statistically, 2 out of 2 men say that she's a lousy lay. Am I right or am I right? I mean, we can only say 2 out of 2. We're not gonna interview the rest of Jacksonville, but.
I didn't even meet Clint until 2 months
Yeah,
after
that's
the
the thing. And again, Gabby's probably like, but if I
when
did,
you know, you know.
if I did, we would have been together then.
But could you see Mandy and I like go on some panel and somebody grill us and go, so if I understand, you were both married. Well, I was legally married, but I had been out. But I fell in love with Sean and I cheated on my husband and I fell in love with Sean and I divorced my husband and now I'm with Sean. Well, that's just,
Thank you,
you're
Carrie.
just a cheater. You're an adulterer. It'd be like, okay, so what's your next question?
Yeah.
We
Thank
understand
you, Trash
that.
Panda.
We understand we are. We got that. It wouldn't change a thing.
And when
bad. Where do we go to confession?
But her man put a ring on it. Says we don't talk about exes, but my man put a ring on it. That's exactly right.
Yep. We did. We went sneaky freaky. We hooked up.
That's why I said call it
terminated both of our marriages.
It sloppy
and got
seconds,
together. So say whatever you want to say.
Call it whatever you want to call it. Sloppier the better.
I mean, I guess it would be valid to come after us if we both went crawling back and we're trying to be here and we're like, well, yeah, we're married. Have been.
That's and I'm like, I don't know.
Just celebrated our 2nd anniversary.
That's why, and Gabby kind of agrees with me as far as there's no legal attachment between her and him. She exists only, her crazy ass only exists.
Yeah, they were never even married ever.
No.
That's adulators. That's right. Let it go.
We have that on our
we still have that. That was Shannon. Shannon dubbed that name when we were kind of sparring with them. She said we were adulators. It was hilarious.
She's spinning because you and Sean are going live and being happy. You don't have to do drama.
But it's not just her. Every once in a while, when somebody gets salty with us, they'll bring that up. They'll be like, well, they're cheaters. And it's like, yeah, they
all day, every day.
They were cheaters. They rocked the community with their cheating too, but now they're married, so. Yes, Carrie. Shannon does. She's funny.
Even if we don't like she just said, and you're exactly right. We're going live consistently. We can talk about her none. We can talk about her the whole stream. That's the beautiful part of this being our channel. But there is the preconception with her, or the interpretation that it's all the time. Only a narcissist would think that, because we really don't. Most of the time we're talking about our sex life, but not too descriptive.
Loretta says, Gabby, your Instagram is fire. Love your new photo shoot photos. I haven't seen the new photo shoot photos, but her Instagram is fire. Matter of fact, I
like the one with Clint in it.
Yeah, that one was.
Hey Presley, I know you're still here. Because you're keeping up. Sean has
she just said.
Sean has this curled lips that are kind of like Elvis's. It's only when he doesn't know he's doing it. His lips are like, they do. They do. But when
do they do that, baby?
Don't know, like now. No, that's the other thing. But I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They do. They naturally do that.
We have to give it a rest tonight.
I know we have to give it a rest. Yes. But we need to go so you can finish it.
I know.
And then go to bed.
We can watch the game.
But we've had fun hanging out with you guys.
We did. We always have fun. I'm gonna admit, some nights when we start this up, I'm wondering if we should take a night off, because we're tired. I'd like drink an energy drink, and about 15 minutes into it, I'm having a blast. And
I leaked 2 unedited. Hold on. Go ahead. I leaked 2 unedited photographs. The photographer normally does not like that. Oh, on your Instagram, Gabby?
The what? What'd you do?
She said she leaked 2 unedited photos. The photographer normally doesn't like that.
Oh,
on your Instagram? I want to see that. I'm baffled. I want to see it.
So meaning she's got like
I put one up tonight. Okay.
The photographer meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it. They don't need editing. I'm gonna go in and see it. Gabby and I we message on Instagram mainly because the two of us are too when we start talking, there's no point in like exchanging. I've given her my number this is such an irrelevant thing, but we do better on Instagram Like, cause it's faster.
And you never use Instagram. You know, Mandy was like, Instagram. What
but
is
I
Instagram?
do now.
But like when we first met, she didn't do Twitter, and I said, Mandy, if you do Twitter, you know, and we're going to be on social media. Twitter will enhance, you know, the YouTube thing, and she's.
I said I don't know how it works.
Yeah, so I showed her that. Instagram for me is I have an Instagram, and like sometimes my Facebook stuff goes Instagram, but I'm just like a lurker in Instagram. I have a whole bunch of just weird, interesting channels that I follow and that I scroll through every day. Mandy will tell you I got some weird stuff on there.
None of it's midget porn.
No, close, but I don't think it's allowed on Instagram per se. But like my Bigfoot stuff, my all
does
that's
any
there.
of you like ever like someone will follow you on Twitter, so you go onto their page and there's full on like porn on their page?
Yeah,
like that shows. How does Twitter let that happen? Do they not?
That is kind of.
I've always thought that. Who moves on? Oh, really? But do you know what I mean? Like. It's so, like, how is that allowed on there?
Instagram is interesting as far as, like, if you like a specific subject, football or whatever, and you hashtag it, you'll find what you like, fishing, just whatever it is that you like.
Oh, wow.
Hashtag it, and then just see what comes through your feed. And that's what all I use it for. I don't, like, post stuff and...
That's really cool. I don't use TikTok. As a matter of fact, when someone sends me a link to something on TikTok, I can't even watch it because when I go to click it and it tries to go to my TikTok app, it like shuts. I don't know. It shuts it down.
Of course, Ricky's got held for, and that was someone approved it.
Myriad. Yeah. I danced and learned from a guy named Bentley Rebel. Oh my gosh, he dances better than me in 6-inch heels. That's the way that it is. Hats off.
Florida? It was Florida, right?
Well, that's not where she lives now, but she is from Florida, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few friends on Facebook that are just, I don't like the term alternate lifestyle. I just think that people are eclectic and, and kind of free with how they express themselves.
He was in New York.
It's amazing. And I first, I'm a flaming heterosexual, but when I was in Provincetown in Cape Cod, which is a gay community, it was so interesting, the expression. And, when you can look at an individual, a human being that,
that's what I was going to say.
Like, I know a good looking guy when I see one, and I'm not, it's like, that's a hot dude. But when you see people express themselves in a certain way and go, that's hot, it's interesting to me.
I think so too.
And as far as the liberal arts, like, I'd say a third of my tattoos were from Provincetown.
That's
very
so cool.
Good, very cool tattoo artists. So anyway.
That's very cool. Yeah, I was going to say, Loretta thought she couldn't see Ricky's comments.
He was in New York. I was going to say New York is a big town for dancing and things like that.
I like New York City. I've only been once, but it's a good place to people watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Atlanta is pretty big and for dancing and things like that. And
we've still yet. I haven't been into Atlanta.
You just wear me out before we can get
No,
there.
but you know what I mean? Like, we don't ever... I've never seen the sights
I
there.
take it for granted because I grew up in Atlanta, then I left it, and there's probably a lot of it that I should go see again that I haven't seen in years. But anyway...
I don't like to take the MARTA because we used to be so sad going from the MARTA back to Atlanta because I'd be flying off. You know what I mean? So I don't like to take it now. There's studios I want to visit there. I would love to go to New York City. I'll be a ride-along, or... Even if I don't, hey, Gabby, there were people saying, can you imagine her on a pole talking about me? I'm going to rock it. I'm going to rock the pole. Probably literally. But I was like,
we've got extra bedrooms.
These bitchy ass women, why are they hating ass women?
They hate. Don't be hating.
They're hating ass
I always
women.
say, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
No matter what the game is, you know, if you don't like it, don't hate the one that's good at it.
I bet there's some big girls on poles too. They may not be able to like do all of the stuff,
I'm sure.
But I mean, I could come down and slide one like fire pulse, like playground style. But we really do need to go.
Okay, you can
We
read
love
those
you guys.
comments.
I can't. Yeah, see, Gabby says, "Fuck yes, I am. I'm gonna do it." There's some studios.
I support
Carrie, it was
that.
good to see you guys.
I support that.
I support it.
that.
It's good to see all of you. We had a good time tonight. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for hanging
Big
out,
girls
guys.
can pole dance.
Yep.
Chris Vaughn, imagine the beast on a pole.
Chris comes in with the last comment.
I don't know. We saw the twerk, and that wasn't that wasn't worth a whole lot. So anyway, bye, you guys. Have a good night.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.